Hey guys, welcome back to an all new episode of a pro wrestling podcast with Matt and friends. I'm your host, Matt Kozakowski, and alongside me today is the most evil man in professional wrestling today. His name is Evil Kip Stevens. Evil Kip, how you doing, man?
Well, the first thing I want to get off my chest is that it might be Matt with friends, but I am not friends with Matt. Let's get that on the record right now.
Hey, I get that. I totally get it. Evil Kip does his own thing. We understand. Evil Kip does his own thing. No friends
I
for Evil Kip.
I guarantee you don't get it.
Oh, you're right. I'm not smart. I'm not intelligent. I'm not as intelligent as Evil Kip, right? You're the mastermind.
No, because I am here to educate. I took time out of my day not to answer your silly questions, but to educate you and the audience.
Hey, we're all listening. We have to. That's the whole thing, right? So let's get started here, right? What was life like growing up for Evil Kip?
Well, life was difficult. I was bullied all the time. People wanted to take me down because I was the shortest, because I was the smallest, because I was the skinniest. And I was also the smartest. So people were clearly jealous of something. And again, I was an easy target. I'm not ashamed to admit it. A lot of people get bullied when they're growing up. That was me. And then you know what I thought? I thought it'd be great to be a wrestler. I did a fun little nerd gimmick for a little bit. Thought, oh, make the kids happy. This will make me happy. But then you know what? Then I decided to grow a set of balls and take the world by him. And now I'm on top of the world. So to everybody who bullied me, fuck off. Are we allowed to curse here?
We are allowed to curse here.
Good. Fuck off.
Hey, fuck off. Evil Kip says fuck off. We listen. We're under your control. That's all it is.
Damn straight.
100%. So Evil Kip, when was that moment that you found pro wrestling? When was that moment that pro wrestling came into your life?
All right. Well, when I was 7 years old, I was climbing up a tree, fell, and cracked 2/3 of my skull. I had to stay indoors the whole entire summer because, God forbid, my skull breaks again. That wouldn't be good for things. And what does a kid do when he can't go outside and play? Turns on the TV. And there was Thundercats, there was other cartoons, but what grabbed me was wrestling. And seeing the Ultimate Warrior shaking ropes, being the champion, he looked awesome. And that's why I was like, wow, this is exactly what I want out of life. I don't know what it was, but just wrestling has been a part of my life since I was 7 years old with the Ultimate Warrior.
And never looked back.
No, never have. And I'm not one of these fair weather losers that like, oh, I fell out of wrestling for a little bit. No, I stayed loyal the whole time. I enjoyed it. I studied it. And along the way, I decided to make it my passion and make it what I want to do with my life.
I mean, and there was moments, obviously, that we thought, okay, this can be better, right? But we still watched
Yeah, of course.
because
Everything could
we're
be.
fans.
Yeah, I mean, look at your facial hair. It
Right.
sucks. But
It's
clearly,
terrible.
you're pushing through because things can get better.
Right. And I got to grow the patches out better. I definitely understand and I appreciate the advice. Maybe after this show, I'll shave a little bit. I don't know. I might be uglier. I don't know yet. I haven't found that one out yet.
That's a lot of the ills of my eyes right now.
I apologize about that.
I don't know.
I'm trying to do things right by Evil Kip here. Struggles. But so Ultimate Warrior was one of those guys that really got your attention. Who were a couple of those other wrestlers that really grasped your attention that you were like, oh, this guy's really cool, or that's somebody that I can actually look at somebody as one of my favorites.
Well, when you're a little kid, you kind of follow along what Vince McMahon tells you to follow along with. So, of course, I liked the Ultimate Warrior and I liked Hulk Hogan. Then I liked Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. The first wrestler that it didn't matter if they were a good guy or bad guy that I liked was Chris Jericho. When he was in WCW, when he was mouthing off to everybody, and you could just tell he was having fun and just living it up. It didn't matter to me that he was a bad guy. I was just thoroughly enjoying what he did at all times. And it was around that time that I really started understanding and appreciating match quality. So that was again why I liked Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and then Jericho and Chris Benoit and all those guys. When I first started getting into indie wrestling, the first indie wrestling show I ever went to was Ring of Honor All Star Extravaganza 2. And I saw Colt Cabana on there. And the way that he was entertaining the crowd while also wrestling and breaking the fourth wall while having a match, it was the most amazing thing I ever saw. And that was the first time I kind of realized, like, growing up, I knew my size. I was like, I can't be Triple H. I can't be The Undertaker. I can't be Chris Jericho. But this was a guy I connected with.
Oh,
And
right.
a lot of people on that roster weren't big, weren't huge. They were, average height, average size, but they were still having awesome matches. And that was the first time a germ went into my head, like, wow, maybe I could be a wrestler one day. So those were some of my bigger influences.
Oh, for sure. And Jericho obviously is somebody that gets a lot of recognition, a lot of respect because he is a legend in pro wrestling. Colt Cabana is one of those guys that is very underappreciated. I think Colt Cabana is one of the all-time best, especially with what you said, breaking the fourth wall, does his thing, entertains the fans, but he's such a good wrestler in that ring that you can't take away his credibility. And I feel like a lot of people don't look at the credibility that Colt Cabana truly has as a pro wrestler. I think, now with everything going on with, CM Punk being gone from AEW, I think now we have somebody like Colt Cabana who could actually get his chance to shine more. And I think he truly deserves it. Now I know you said, like, your wrestlers and stuff that made you want to do it. Do you remember the exact moment when you realized, like, hey, pro wrestling is what I'm going to do?
Yeah. There was a fair that I worked at, and there was a bunch of booths. I was working one of them, and there was a table for NYWC wrestling. And I went to the table. I was looking at their flyers. They were showing tapes, and their champion Dickie Rods was there, and I was talking to him, and he was like, "Hey, you should come to one of our shows. Here's a flyer." And I don't know what possessed me, what gave me the courage. I said, "It'd be cool if I could become a wrestler," expecting him to just laugh at me. And he said, "Oh yeah, that'd be really cool. You seem to have passion. Why don't join our school?" And the fact that he didn't say no made me believe, like, wow, really? Like, it
Yeah.
was somebody believed in me in a weird way. That's what I felt like. It
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
some outlandish, it wasn't something outlandish. It wasn't something like, "Oh, you can't do this. You're not the right size. Oh no, you're not this. You're not." No, no, no. He told me, if you really have passion, go for it. So I took him up on that. Went to the school, saw what they did, knew it was going to be tough, but I joined. And from there, it was a lot of hard work, a lot of bullying once again, and a lot of me wanting to prove everybody wrong over and over and over and over again.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, based on what we've seen, Evil Kip obviously is proving people wrong in the world of pro wrestling. Um, now, when
Hold on,
it,
pause on that. Here's why I keep on proving people wrong, because people don't want to believe in me. So great. Be on the wrong side of history. It does not bother me. I don't need support. I don't need anything from anybody. All I know is that when I get in the ring, I am untouchable.
I agree 100%. I see that you have some gold, with you. We have some gold around your waist. Look at that gorgeous title belt right there. That
I am
that
the
tells it all right there.
champion. Yeah.
You know, there's no
Unstoppable.
question. That tells it all right there. You're champion. You're on top of the world.
Yep.
100%. So when it came down to your decision of training for pro wrestling, what was the hardest things when it first began for you, when training began? I know, like with me, when I trained for pro wrestling, taking my first bump, I smacked the back of my head. So what was the first thing that really was hard for you when it was learning pro wrestling?
For me, everything was hard. I just, I freely admit I am not the most athletic wrestler. I'm not Ricochet. That's fine. It took me a little while to get things, but that's okay because I was determined. I was determined to make it in wrestling. I had only one goal when I started, which was to get to one match. If I could have one match, I will be thrilled. It would be me seeing something through. It'd be me getting over all of my struggles, getting over everything. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I kept working. And again, that stubbornness and that angry attitude and that wanting to shove it up some people's ass there really helped me along the way. So it doesn't matter if it was a headlock takeover. I messed it up a million times, but I got it right on the million first. Hitting the ropes and running the ropes. Yeah, I sucked over and over and over again, but eventually I didn't. So it didn't matter where I started. I just knew what my goal was.
Oh yeah. No, and running the ropes, that takes a lot of effort. I've heard stories about people who get winded right off the bat. You know, people take pro wrestling as a joke, and it ain't a joke. Pro wrestling is super difficult. And I think a lot of people don't realize what you guys do inside of that ring. You guys do a lot to your bodies to damage just to put on for a crowd. And I give you guys a lot of credit. I know you're doing it to prove all the doubters wrong and stuff like that. And you're doing it, in a big way. Like we just seen, you're a world champion. You're doing your thing, and you got another world title match about to come up, I believe tomorrow, right? So we're
Right.
gonna definitely talk about that. So the first time I actually witnessed you was at a Creative Pro Wrestling event that they had taped, they put on YouTube. Tell me what it's been like working for Creative Pro.
Well, Creative Pro, I'll just go. I'm not trying to demean other wrestling schools, but I will just speak positively, ironically, positively about Creative Pro. Just look at the people that have come out of there. Another world champion, MJF, current trios tag champion, acclaimed Max Caster, TBS champion, Chris Statlander. They all came from Creative Pro. I knew Brian Myers for years before he opened Creative Pro. When he opened it, I was briefly moved to Oregon, but then came back. And when I came back to New York, I'm like, well, I need to make a change. And I did. Went to Creative Pro. And since then, my God, you know, it's been, I can't lie, the affiliation with Creative Pro has helped my career tremendously. I could have been the best wrestler in the world, but if nobody knows about me, it doesn't matter. But being in that Creative Pro spotlight helps. And it's a
Oh,
good thing.
absolutely.
The brighter the spotlight, the brighter I shine.
Oh, absolutely. Creative Pro puts people out there. Like you just mentioned, you got a couple stars who are actually champions in AEW right now. You got people who go from Creative Pro to Beyond Wrestling, Limitless Wrestling, CCW, more top independent shows. You got people completely killing it. You have the Iron Savages, or Bear Bronson, who came from there.
Yes.
There's so many talents that come from Creative Pro, and especially Brian Myers opening that school. I think it did wonders for a lot of people. It gives a lot more people credit, and I think a lot of people underestimate, like what we talked about before the top of the show. Brian Myers, severely underrated. I think he's one of the all-time best.
And to add to that, Pat Buck too. He's the co-owner and co-trainer, and he's the current agent at AEW. He was an agent in WWE. Another person that will never get the amount of flowers that he deserves in wrestling. Same thing
Oh
with
yeah.
Brian. But they clearly produce stars. They know what they're doing. And again, to be under that umbrella can only help more eyes come onto me, which I feel I deserve.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And I don't disagree with that. Like I said, right now I'm under your control. You put that.
If you're under my control, give me your credit card number now.
All right. I don't know where it's at. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Oh,
Um,
by now anyway.
I will definitely get back to you on that. So I know we mentioned earlier, right? You talked about your previous um things in pro wrestling. You had that nerdy gimmick, you were doing the whole thing for the fans to try to please them instead of pleasing yourself. What brought you to that decision of doing that gimmick before you led to who you are now?
So again, it was when you first are training, it's tough. You go into a wrestling school and everybody has an idea like I'm going to be this with this with this. And if you're good and intelligent and smart, after your first couple of sessions, you realize, yeah, I don't know anything about anything. And you keep your mouth shut, your eyes and ears open. Uh, so I didn't really have a direction. But the company was like, well, you're kind of a nerdy guy. I think doing a nerd gimmick would be fun for you. And again, flat out, like I knew myself. I knew I was not Triple H. I knew I was not the Undertaker, but I always liked a character like the Hurricane
Yeah.
or things like that. So okay, a nerd character. And it wasn't like the promoter telling me, so that means you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and this is what moves you're going to do. No, it was I'd see you as a nerd character. And from there, I built it out to as great as I possibly could make it. I had tons of compliments along the way, people who loved it, people who thought it was you know, out of all the nerd gimmicks, you're doing it the best. Great. Thank you for the nice compliments. But in the long run, for me, uh, there was a ceiling on it, just flat out. People thought I wasn't taking wrestling seriously. They were wrong. No matter how hard I worked to prove them wrong, people have a preconceived notion in their head. They're going to stick by it.
Right.
So, yeah, because they're morons, flat out morons. So, whatever. Now I'll just do Evil Kip and prove you wrong again and again and again. And it doesn't matter if I'm doing it in a suspender and bow tie or if I'm doing it in my trunks. Either way, I will rise to the top.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, and 100%. And I know you mentioned the hurricane, right? So was that what kind of led to your decision to go from the nerdy style to Evil Kip in the trunks, and do like the villain type character? Like, was that kind of what put that whole idea in your head, or was that something that you always wanted to do in general?
So I'm not going to name the person, but I did a seminar and it was talking, and this person is a very intelligent wrestler. And he said, oh, even if you're a babyface wrestler and you turn heel, you keep a lot of the same things. And I remember him saying that. I didn't disagree with him, but I flat out said, well, if I ever turn heel, I want to do the exact opposite. And it was almost like he gave me a quizzical look, like, okay, like here's a young person who's speaking out of turn. Well, guess what? I did the exact opposite. I was fully covered up, very colorful. Then I went to just trunks and kick pads with my name on it, with just the Oasis logo with my name on it. The moves I did as a babyface were gone, and now the moves I do as Evil Kip are different. I wanted there to be no I wanted it to be a totally different perception because I knew what I had inside me. I knew how good I was. As a nerd character, there's certain things you can't do. As Evil Kip, I felt that this is great. Now there's no limitations on what I can do. Now, if I want to kick somebody in the balls, I will do it because I can. Do I get disqualified? Sure. Do I care? No. I get to maim people legally. That is a brilliant thing. Couldn't be happier.
Oh yeah, I mean, I couldn't kick somebody in the balls and get away with it. You can.
Feel it because you're weak and pathetic.
100%. I could tell. I'm trying, Evil Kip. I really am. I think what it needs to be is I need to attend Evil Kip seminars more often to learn more.
Clearly, you're sick. Look at that pale skin and those pathetic little arms.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
See a doctor. I
I'm
worry for you.
I think what I need to do is learn your seminars first and then go to the doctor.
Yeah, you're getting a free seminar right now. In fact, screw that. After this is over, I want payment.
How much we talking?
Let's see if you can handle it.
Okay.
I'm sure if you opened up your wallet, a moth would fly out, but we'll work out something.
Probably 100%. I probably got like 20 cents to my name, but we'll figure it out for sure.
Yes.
Um,
Give
so
me, you're in debt. That's what I'll take. You know,
that's fair. 100%. I agree. I don't disagree. I'm pretty poor and pathetic. I live that lifestyle and it's okay, for me, not for you, but for me.
mm-hmm.
So when it came to your Evil Kip seminars, we just mentioned that. What made you want to do something like that? What made you want to start coming up with little vignette clips, however you want to say it, talking about seminars and coming up with the whole, word idea? What gave you that thought process of coming up with that?
So Eric Bischoff talks about this all the time on his podcast. You can be less than, greater than, or different than. And I really thought it was pathetic when you see people doing wrestling promos, sitting in their car with their cell phone out, just talking. I thought that was stupid. I see people who will do stuff on a green screen. Well, I don't have that capability. And I also think it's a little overproduced and tacky. I also thought, everybody can do a promo, but everybody talks about, oh, come to this seminar and learn something. Come to this seminar and learn something. Well, I've been to a bunch of seminars with a bunch of old grizzled pieces of garbage that just want to rant about how great they were as opposed to how great I am. So I thought it was my time to really educate people. Instead of doing a lame wrestling promo that everybody else does, it was time to educate with a seminar. And you are all lucky because I do those seminars free because I get to rant and it's time to educate about what my word of the day is. Whatever I want it to be. Because you know what? So many wrestlers, I'm going to beat you up. Oh, great. Well, bullshit. If you got in the ring with me, at least I will give you a theme, a topic, and educate.
So
Again,
what do you think? What do you think is wrong with society today? What do you think is wrong with us people that we can learn something better from you?
well, it's a long list. Clearly, the fact that you're all stealing my oxygen is right up at the top of the list of things I can't stand about people in society today. But again, if you just go on, I was going to say Twitter, but I guess now it's X. It is just a cesspool of stupid people opening their mouth. I swear to God, the dumbest people in the world are the ones that are on Twitter, and they're letting everybody know it. I read some of these posts and I just am embarrassed for people. Oh, especially wrestling opinions. My God. And the dumbest wrestling opinions comes from the wrestlers themselves. It is extremely pathetic. So just if anybody wants to realize where society is going wrong, take 10 minutes out of your day, scroll through X, and my God, you will hear some of the dumbest stuff ever.
I don't disagree. Wrestling takes are the worst.
Yeah, you've spouted off the dumb ones yourself in this conversation.
I 100%, and I totally don't disagree with you. I mean, my opinions fucking suck.
Yeah, at
You
least
know,
you know where
I think
you
maybe after this, I call it a day and stop doing podcasts. I think after this show, we just end it with Evil Kip.
you can do whatever the hell you want. The Lord knows I'm not listening to it after this episode.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I know you mentioned a little bit ago doing things different from Francis Kip Stevens to Evil Kip Stevens, learning different things and taking all that stuff and put it in the past and doing something completely different. When you had to learn all new stuff, how long did that take you to do all that? Like, did it take a lot of time to put that whole character together, or was it pretty simple to get all that new stuff out there?
As with any new venture in life, there's always going to be trial and error. Uh, there was things that as Evil Kip I was thought would be great, and after doing it, I didn't feel comfortable. I wanted to, but I knew I couldn't. I knew I couldn't be closed-minded. I had to be open-minded to anything. try it and see if it works. And that's something that when you first start at a wrestling school and you're first starting to develop yourself, they'll say, just try it. Be loud, be expressive. If it's much easier to pull back than it is to say keep going, try and be louder. So for me, it was a feel thing. If I tried something and it didn't work, okay, no worries. But then if I did something and believed in it, I'm going to keep going. Take, for example, Evil Kip seminars. I don't get it. Oh, I don't get it. Well, I don't care. I get it. And look at this. People are catching up now. So it's better to be a little bit ahead than be behind. I don't get it. Why aren't you just doing a promo in your car? I don't get it. Why aren't you doing something from a green screen? I don't get it. Why aren't you saying the date of the show? Well, guess what? I'm doing what I want, how I want to do it, and I'm doing what feels right to Evil Kip. And that is leading me to eventual world domination. I've already done it at Dropkick Depression. I'm going to be doing it at Creative Pro. And then any other place that has me, I will dominate on my own terms.
I can't disagree. I mean, like I said, I think more people need to take Evil Kip Stevens' opinions and listen, because I think, you're going to take over the world. So we definitely have to listen to you. Now we just talked about the Creative Pro Championship. You're about to have a match tomorrow for this title. You are on if you lose this match, you are no longer a part of Creative Pro. So what is your mindset going into this match? What is your thought process going into this match?
So everyone said to me, "Oh, Evil Kip ran his mouth and caught himself in trouble because I said I would leave if I can't beat Bryce Donovan." And there was no such thing as a slip of the tongue for Evil Kip. Would I make something so outlandish if I didn't think I could back it up? No. That is how confident I am that I am winning tomorrow. This has been a long time coming. Bryce Donovan has been ducking me, avoiding me because he knows I will beat him. So did I sweeten the pot a little bit to make him say, "Oh, I'll face you, Evil Kip"? Sure. What do I have to worry about? What do I have to worry about? I am not losing. So I will be at Creative Pro, pissing people off forever, but now I will be doing it with the Creative Pro Heavyweight Championship around my waist. We're just going to go up a level. See, the thing is, I look down on everybody. I don't say I'm better than anybody. It's just that I'm on a higher plane of existence. You all mouth breathers down here, I can look down on you and see your faults. I will be doing it from up here with the Creative Pro Heavyweight Championship around my waist.
We will definitely see tomorrow. I definitely think Creative Pro is about to get taken over, just like the world, by Evil Kip Stevens. We'll definitely see what happens as of tomorrow. I'm excited. I think the world's going to be excited when Evil Kip Stevens takes over Creative Pro Wrestling. Now, are there any dream matches that Evil Kip has in the back of his head that he wants to have in the future?
Dream matches. I don't see, everyone says, "Oh, dream." And then, here's the thing. If anybody steps in the ring with me, it's a nightmare. So who do I want to face? Anybody. Do I have anybody in mind? Sure. But I'm not going to be Cody Rhodes and put out a little list, or, oh my God, the dumbest thing on X. I want, and then they'll add the person because they're praying a promoter is dumb enough to do that. I will earn everything when it comes to me rightfully. I don't put out little things. "Oh, send me this guy. Oh, I demand this guy. Oh, yeah, you're so tough. Why? You want to be exposed?" Pathetic. Whoever comes in front of me, it should be a dream opponent for them, and then it'll be a nightmare for them.
I don't disagree. Like I said, you're taking over the world. I'm not in control of my own self anymore. Like, I don't even know how this happened. Like, I feel very stupid because I don't feel like I'm myself, and I should, right? Because I feel like my mind's getting controlled.
Yeah, you are very stupid. At least you admitted it.
Sometimes you have to. That's the first step, right?
Yeah, step one is acceptance. Step 2, just getting out of the earth, and then I don't have to worry about you.
I appreciate that. I'll definitely have to put that into consideration. I think that'll be on my list of things to do. Evil Kip, now I do want to know, is there any hobbies or any collectibles or anything that you do outside of pro wrestling?
Well, if you're asking me if I have an action figure collection, no, I have a life. I do appreciate people who do have action figure collections. Can't lie about that. Do I have any other hobbies? I enjoy reading because I want to better myself in any way possible. I enjoy fantasy football because I dominate in that also. Go to the gym if you want to consider that a hobby, you can. It's really more of a job for me though because I take wrestling very seriously. Unlike a lot of slobs out there or skinny fat people who want to skate by, I actually put the time in because I want to be better. So if you want to call that a hobby, you may as well.
I definitely think that is a hobby, especially when people are trying to get better, right? So I definitely would consider it a hobby. I think it's a great hobby. I think it helps with your health issues as well. So I think it's fantastic. But
This
yeah,
way,
I mean, I'm an action figure collector. I think that makes me probably terrible. I think.
no, I'm not judging. Everybody can do whatever they want with themselves. I, again, I just pegged you for an action figure collector. I could just tell by your arms. The probably heaviest thing you lift is your little Mattel Elite creation. Oh no! I got the Ultimate Edition. I got the Ultimate Edition Seth Rollins. Oh,
Hey,
am I gonna let it
somebody's
breathe?
got to.
Yeah, this is pathetic. Oh, do I open the package? Do I let it breathe? Maybe I'll buy two. I'm sure take up all the mental energy doing that. Go for it.
I think I will. I think instead of buying those figures, I'm just gonna pay you for lessons.
You should. There. That would be a good hobby. I talk to Evil Kip on a weekly basis to get smarter. Make that your hobby.
Well, I think with your intellect, right? I think that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
educating people right now.
I think maybe I could turn into Evil Kip's sidekick.
No,
Never?
no, hell no.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
I don't want you around me. All I want is your money. After your money, that is it.
That's fair. I figured as much, kick to the side afterwards. I definitely understand.
You're at my side.
That's fair. I get it. I live farther away, so I understand, right? Keep my germs this way. I definitely get it. But Evil Kip, I am excited for you to win the Creative Pro Wrestling Championship. I'm very stoked about that. Do you want to tell the fans where they could find you at on social media?
At I am Evil Kip. That is where my X is. That is my Instagram as well. Because I'm on Threads at I am Evil Kip, but I don't post on there. I just took it because Lord knows somebody else would have. Unfortunately, Facebook, I'm still Francis Kip Stevens. The sooner I can change that, the better. So if anybody wants to assist me on that, I will gladly take your advice. And then what I will do is disregard you like a jerk off tissue.
Sounds like a good disregard. Well, Kip, like I said, I'm excited about tomorrow. I'm excited that you're about to be Creative Pro Wrestling Champion. Sorry, Bryce Donovan, but this is Kip's time. He's taking
I'm
over
not,
the world.
yeah, that's right. And since we're doing plugs, I will also plug my Pro Wrestling Tees store at Evil Kip Stevens. Every shirt purchase comes with an email from me to insult you on said decision. It'll be great.
So everybody go buy a shirt from Evil Kip Stevens.
No, don't buy a shirt, buy all my shirts in all my sizes.
All sizes. Even if you're an extra large, buy a small. Evil Kip deserves your money.
Yeah, embarrass yourself. It'll be great.
I think so. Kip, it was my pleasure to talk to you. I know it wasn't yours to talk to me. I understand 100%. But again, can't wait to see what the future holds for you. I can't wait to see more gold around your waist. It's coming a lot sooner than we all expect. So nothing but good things coming for you. I'm excited. But until next time, guys, this has been a pro wrestling podcast with Matt and friends. This was Evil Kip Stevens. Signing off, guys.